God, I felt dumb doing that. I really did. Anyways, we're here to look at the entire Fnaf timeline. Yeah. You're looking at this because I ended up watching the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie, and it was good. It was good. I liked the first one way more, but it was good. Yeah. Then because I kind of wanted to understand some of the things in that, but this video came out way before that movie did. So, mission failed successfully on that part, yeah. But I'm also not entirely educated on the entire Fnaf timeline, so I guess that's what we're here to do now. So, yeah. Anyways, I got nothing else for this intro, so we're just gonna jump right in. So let's go and do that now, shall we?
Get ready for a surprise!
She can sing.
All back. All of them. Together.
Lots of
in
audios.
one place.
Oh, hello.
Five Nights at Freddy's is a franchise with over a decade's worth of content,
Indeed.
spanning countless games, books, and now a movie.
God, it's been 2 movies, and it's been out for 12 years now, huh? Or almost 12. Yeah, because the first one came out in 2014, so yeah.
There's a reason that no matter
At
whose
least I believe it did.
timeline you watch, they all look different. Making a FNAF timeline is not easy. There are so many ways you can interpret this story, and this is mine.
Okay.
So let's start at the beginning.
Alright, oh boy.
Back in the 70s, a company called Fazbear Entertainment got its start by creating different props and mascot costumes for carnivals, and specifically for something called the Fall Fest.
Is this from that, what was that one game? Something about a mimic? Is this from that? Because I didn't look at that at all. I don't know anything about that. So, here we are.
Fall Fest featured various mascot characters, such as a bird, an elephant, and the most popular of all, Fredbear and Bonnie. These specific mascot costumes were so popular, Fazbear Entertainment opened a dedicated restaurant for them called Fredbear's Family Diner, featuring the same Fredbear and Bonnie mascot costumes from the Fall Fest.
Jesus Christ. This creepy ass thing, glitch trap, Jesus.
Fazbear Entertainment didn't account for, though, was one of their animatronics from the Fall Fest going rogue.
Oh. Oh.
Ending in a giant
And that's the mimic thingy, isn't it?
fire. With
Yeah. Yeah, just it's like Jesus Christ. It's like this is like the Wendy's mascot if turned into an animatronic given nightmare fuel. Like, Jesus Christ. I feel like Scarecrow just injecting me with fear toxin while looking at a Wendy's restaurant, and this is what happened. Jesus.
ending in a giant fire.
Of course.
With most of everything.
It's got to end in the fire with a lot of things, doesn't it? Yeah. Third one ended with a fire. The security breach ended in a fire, I believe. Then they went back, or someone, I don't know. I still need to look at the entire lore of security breach and all that. More specifically, what happened in the, what was the next thing they got? I don't know, well, I'm about to find out probably.
From the Fall Fest being destroyed.
Oh. Well, hello. There's some good production quality right here.
The specifics about the animatronic that went rogue and the fire are unknown, and will likely be revealed next year in FNAF's next big release. Although we don't know much.
Okay, so I guess it wasn't out at the point then, I guess, yeah. I don't know, maybe I'll play it and figure it out myself. And then probably have to look up tons of ways to figure it out. Yeah, and then probably still fail.
About how this fire occurred, we do know that after the fire, Fazbear Entertainment started phasing out of the mascot costume era. They needed something new. The two men who helped found Fazbear Entertainment, William Afton and Henry Emily, stepped up to the plate. William Afton was mostly the businessman of the two, handling all of the money, while Henry was the more creative one, with him being in charge of building most of the animatronics and props for the company. With the Fall Fest era of the company coming to a close, they were only left with Fredbear's Family Diner, the standalone restaurant created for the Fredbear and Bonnie characters. In order to replace the mascot versions of Fredbear and Bonnie, Henry went to work on new versions of the characters, eventually creating the new Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, the same characters
Jesus Christ, go back.
of the characters, eventually creating
Jesus Christ. Yeah, we have these unsettling ass animatronics for the diner and everything. Christ. And again, the animatronics at like Chuck E. Cheese aren't exactly inviting either whenever you really think about it. Yeah.
The new Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. The same characters, but with new designs and new suits. Henry called them Springlock suits. These suits are able to double as both an animatronic and a suit that the employees could wear. To switch the suit from animatronic mode to suit mode, the employees could use a hand crank to pull back the animatronic parts, leaving room for them to climb inside. The spring locks that were helping to hold back those animatronic parts were very sensitive though, and with even a little bit of moisture, the spring locks could potentially snap shut, crushing and killing whoever was inside.
And people were brave enough to go in this timeline. Like, I'm sorry, if I ever saw, I don't know if these are an actual thing IRL, but if it is, just no. Like, you're gonna have to give me like a $9 with like a couple with like at least 7 zeros behind that 9 for me to get into one of these, okay? Just saying.
But if that ended up happening, Fazbear Entertainment had some common sense procedures set in place.
In the case that the spring locks come loose while you are wearing a suit, please try to maneuver away from populated areas before bleeding out. That should not ruin the customer experience.
Yeah, we know you're about to, die a tragic death, but please do it away from the customers so, they don't have to view this traumatic experience, and then, well, that's it. Yeah. It's just like, okay, so it's just, they do that, and it's like, okay, what now? And then you just hear nothing, and then you just pass.
Bear's Family Diner ended up being super successful for William and Henry, so much so that other companies tried replicating it. Another company proceeded to rip off Fazbear Entertainment's old mascot characters by creating their own animatronic versions of them. The leader of the group was Ned Bear, a direct copy of Fredbear, followed by a hippo, an elephant, and a frog. All characters from the Fall Fest, and all with slightly different designs to avoid copyright issues. But while the rival company was able to replicate the designs, they could not replicate Henry's state-of-the-art technology. Their robots were poorly made and had to have giant batteries with exposed wires on stage with them. Naturally, the rival company failed and ended up being bought out by Fazbear Entertainment. With all of the success from Fredbear
got bought out, and it's just like, those are definitely some knockoffs. Alright, I'll buy them off you.
Family Diner, William and Henry decided to branch out and create more characters for a new restaurant. In 1983, William and Henry opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, featuring Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. With the opening of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, Fazbear Entertainment was experiencing success like they've never seen before. But with 2 restaurants now open at the same time, more success also meant more work for William and Henry. The duo were so wrapped up in work that they started neglecting their own families. William was the father of 3 kids, the eldest, Michael, the crying child, and Elizabeth. The crying child has yet to have a 100% confirmed name, so for this video, he will just be called the crying child.
I recognize him being called Evan, but not the other 2, so I never go back.
Have a 100% confirmed name.
Yeah, I don't know where these 2 came from. I heard Evan, I don't remember where I had that, but whatever, I guess crying child it is.
So for this video, he will just be called the crying child. Meanwhile, Henry had 1 kid, a daughter named Charlie. The business partners spent most of their days working, so they both created different ways of taking care of their kids. Henry was the robotics genius, so he used his talents to create a new animatronic to watch Charlie for him.
That is definitely my favorite animatronic out of Five Nights at Freddy's, by the way. Yeah, which, I mean, come on, it should be obvious. Well, let's be real. Like, come on. Also, wasn't there multiple of these? Because I remember, wasn't there multiple of these in like that one minigame from the pizzeria simulator thingy? The Fnaf 6. Yeah.
Him. It was called the security puppet. This animatronic would sit by the door of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and make sure that Charlie wasn't able to leave the building. This made it so Charlie could play at the restaurant while Henry worked, without Henry having to worry about her leaving the building or getting kidnapped. The robot was linked directly to a green bracelet that Charlie was wearing. If Charlie, wearing the green bracelet, tried leaving the building, the security puppet would spring into action. William, on the other hand, was the businessman of the company. He cared more about making money, but but also saving money. Naturally, he decided to just force his eldest son Michael to babysit while he was at work. Michael was mostly in charge
and that didn't go well.
of babysitting the crying child. The crying child didn't have many friends, but he did have a close
Did he
relationship
have any friends that weren't the animatronics?
with his plushies. These plushies were
Or
of characters
plushies?
from his favorite show, Fredbear and Friends, Fazbear Entertainment's newest cartoon, featuring Fredbear, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. The crying child's favorite character, though, was Fredbear. He especially loved his
Yeah, that didn't end so well, did it?
Fredbear plushie. Although he loved the plushie version of the characters, the animatronics would soon become a different story. One day, while visiting Fredbear's family diner, the crying child saw something that would scar him for the rest of his life. While wandering the restaurant, he walked by the employees only room, where an employee accidentally left the door open. Inside the room was his father, William Afton, helping another employee into a spring Bonnie suit. But through the eyes of the crying child, this looked like someone was literally being stuffed into an animatronic suit. The crying child was so young that he
Well, were they? Because, I mean, because, I mean, if it's Purple Guy doing it, it probably wouldn't be too far off to think that's the case. I'm just saying. Just saying.
wasn't educated on how the mascot characters worked, so seeing a human be put inside of one terrified him. When a child experiences something traumatic, their brain naturally tries finding ways to deal with that trauma. The crying child's way of dealing with his trauma was by creating an imaginary friend. This imaginary friend took the form of the object he loved the most, his Fredbear plushie. His new imaginary friend Fredbear followed him wherever he went, shape-shifting into flowers, hiding behind cars, and in the sewers, with nobody being able to see
We'll float too, or something. Or you'll float too. Sorry, it just made me think of Pennywise down there.
him except for the crying child. When the crying child was overwhelmed, the plushie would talk to him and try to calm him down. Even when the plushie wasn't around, it was...
I hate how I saw the plush in here and thought of Pennywise, and my immediate reaction and thought in my head is to see who would win between the Fnaf animatronics and Pennywise, and like I don't even know why I'm trying to think of this as like a thing. And it's Pennywise 100%. Okay, like it's just yeah. Anyways, let's get out of that irrelevant topic.
The plushie would talk to him and try to calm him down. Even when the plushie wasn't around, it was still able to speak to him because it lived in his mind. While the crying child was dealing with the trauma of seeing what he thinks was someone being stuffed into a suit, his brother Michael was only making it worse. Michael knew about what happened with his younger brother and used it against him. Every day while babysitting the crying child, Michael would put on a Foxy mask, hide somewhere in the house, and jump scare his little brother.
Yep. Oh, we're about to animate this? Oh boy. Well, that's unsettling.
From the pizzeria to your living room, you no longer have to wait to sing and dance with Fredbear and Friends. Weeknights at 8/7 Central, only on...
Jesus. And out from under the bed.
Through all of Michael's bullying, the crying child's imaginary friend Fredbear would comfort him and talk him through the situation, saying, "You know he is hiding again. Be careful. Tomorrow is another day." Michael wasn't the only one bullying the crying child, though. The local kids in the neighborhood heard about why the crying child was so scared of the pizzeria, even making up fake rumors related to what the crying child thought he saw there. "You
Damn.
better watch out. I hear they come to life at night. And if you die, they hide your body and never tell anyone." But all of of this bullying would come to a head on one special day, the crying child's birthday.
Yep.
Ironically, his birthday party was being held at Fredbear's family diner. Because he was so terrified of being at the pizzeria, he hid under the table, not knowing that Michael and his friends were nearby, planning a prank that would go terribly wrong.
Yep. Oh, we're gonna animate the bite too? Or as much as you can?
Make sure you grab your pizza. Fredbear and Spring Bonnie will be performing in 5 minutes.
And, yep, there he is. Up, here we go. Oh, jeez. And... Yep, there it is.
Michael and his friends lifted the crying child up to, quote, give Fredbear a big kiss, and Fredbear bit down on him, leaving his body to go limp.
like a
Michael
damn
and his
bite.
friends quickly stopped laughing. Because of Michael's immature behavior, his terrified younger brother paid the ultimate price. Although the crying child was badly hurt, he didn't immediately die. Because of the immense
Somehow.
brain damage, he slipped into a coma. After being treated at a hospital, the crying child was taken home. So
Yeah, and I heard like a thing where like the entirety of Five Nights at Freddy's 4, like the gameplay in the rooms and everything, is basically like just like all in his head while like right after that or something, and he's basically living like through hell or some shit.
could be comfortable, surrounded by his only friends, his plushies. In the crying
Whether
child's
that's true or not, I don't know.
final moments, Michael decides to apologize for what he's done, saying, "Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry." After Michael speaks, the crying child's imaginary friend Fredbear, created out of the trauma he experienced, continues doing what it's done the whole time. It comforts him, saying, "You're broken. We are still your friends. Do you still believe that? I'm still here. I will put you back together." This would be the final thing the crying child hears before he dies. The crying child's spirit would then live on in the Fredbear suit, the thing that took his life. The crying child's death wasn't just an accident. It was directly caused by Michael's recklessness.
Yep.
This is something that Michael could potentially face jail time for, so
Yeah.
it needed to be covered up. Since the crying child was being kept at home, no one else knew that he ended up passing away. So William and Michael
Oh,
ended up
Jesus.
burying the crying child's body in the middle of the woods where no one would find him. No
Christ.
tombstone, no flowers, just a pile of dirt, an unmarked grave, and a lifetime's worth of guilt that Michael would have to live with. Shortly after the incident,
Jesus. They really did just try to... He was really just trying to rub his hands clean of everything. Christ. I'd be one pissed off ghost spirit too if that happened to me too.
Fredbear's family diner was quickly shut down, and Fredbear was completely wiped from existence. The Fredbear and Friends TV show turned into
Well,
Freddy
almost anyways.
and Friends on tour. The Fredbear and Spring Bonnie Springlock suits also ended up being moved into the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, mainly being used as spare suits if one of the Freddy's animatronics broke down. The death of William Afton's youngest son was a pivotal moment in this story, specifically William Afton's story. This was the first domino to fall. A father losing his son is a traumatic situation, and while any other father would take time to grieve, be sad, and properly deal with such a big loss, William Afton took a different route. Afton
Yeah.
definitely was upset about his son dying, but it wasn't because he felt bad for his son, it was because it was embarrassing to him. William Afton was a narcissist. He had little to no empathy. All he cared about was work and comparing himself to his business partner, Henry. Henry had a wife, a kid, and a talent for robotics that Afton was utterly jealous of. The death of the crying child sent Afton over the edge, because while Henry's family was still perfect, his was now broken. Henry and William had different ways of taking care of their kids, and while Afton employing his eldest son failed, Henry's security puppet succeeded. Henry's daughter, Charlie, lived on. Afton had a hard time dealing with this feeling of embarrassment. He started becoming an alcoholic, frequently visiting the local bar called Junior's. One night, though, after drinking a little too much and getting
JR's.
kicked out of the bar,
JR's. That's a fun. That's a Freddy's fan game. That was actually that was really good actually. Yeah. So was the music in the final night.
He decided that he was going to settle the score with Henry. Afton, drunk and filled with rage, drove from the bar to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where he knew Charlie was being watched over by Henry's security puppet. Afton planned on risking everything to kill Henry's daughter, Charlie. He didn't care if he got caught, and he didn't care if he went to prison. But when Afton got to Freddy's, he noticed that Charlie was standing outside by herself. It turned out that some bullies were able to trap the security puppet in its box and lock Charlie outside the building, giving Afton the perfect opportunity to kill Charlie outside of the pizzeria.
Christ, he just got lucky right there then. Like, Jesus, like, it's like those situations where, like, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Well, for Charlotte, everything that could have gone right for Afton went right. Yeah, like, Jesus.
Security puppet was eventually able to escape its box and went looking for Charlie. As Afton sped away, the puppet noticed that Charlie was outside in the pouring rain. It then did what it was programmed to do and went to protect her.
Does it normally levitate?
But as the puppet got closer to Charlie's body, the rain started making it short circuit. It was forced to crawl its way over to her until the rain got to be too much, and the puppet shut down right next to Charlie's body. While Charlie and the puppet lay lifeless next to each other, Afton was speeding home, driving right past where he buried his son and the bar he got kicked out of. When Afton got home, he was met with his wife sitting in the living room watching TV, and Michael in his bedroom. Afton was a drunk and abusive father, and fully blamed Michael for what happened to his youngest son. Mrs. Afton tells him to leave Michael alone because he's had a tough day, but Afton doesn't listen. He goes over to Michael's room and pounds on the door, only for the door to be locked. He then makes his way around the house to try and find a way in from the outside, but once he gets to Michael's bedroom window, he notices that it's broken, and Michael was gone. Michael was so upset by what he did to his brother that he would sometimes see visions of Fredbear appear and disappear. Tonight, Fredbear appeared outside his bedroom window, and it almost felt like his brother was calling out to him from beyond the grave.
Jesus.
This would happen frequently, and every time it did...
Makes sense. I'd probably be haunted by that too if I accidentally killed my brother that way. Like, yeah.
Michael would run to the spot where they buried his younger brother, only to find that nothing had changed. His younger brother was still gone and buried in the ground. Afton knew Michael did this often, saying, "Ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back." The guilt of killing his younger brother haunted Michael in his real life, but also in his dreams. Michael would constantly have nightmares about the animatronic that took his brother's life. These were the exact same nightmares his younger brother used to have every night, now passed on to him.
What, the gameplay of Fnaf 4? You mean that could have been Michael doing that? Maybe? If that is what the nightmares were? I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they call them nightmare animatronics for a reason. Okay, I like this twist that it's actually Michael. I thought it was Evan. Or crying child, I guess. On this... I mean, it makes sense, yeah. Granted, this is his version of the timeline, but... I mean, it's making sense, and I'm enjoying it. Oh, Jesus. Fredbear's creepy ass. I can only imagine what this is gonna be like whenever whenever they make a movie for the fourth game, because like they at the end of the second movie they had a secret. They had the end credits scene that's hinting towards a third movie for Five Nights at Freddy's 3, which I'm excited to see how that would be, because I want to see more Springtrap in it, but I also want to see what happens in here, because I think the fourth Five Nights at Freddy's is probably one of my favorite favorites of the FNAF franchise, yeah. And probably because it was one of the games that was actually able to genuinely scare the shit out of me. Like it would, which makes sense because if you don't know how it works when you play FNAF 4, you have to be it has to be quiet because you actually have to use your ears and listen in to see what's going on. Because, like, whenever you're closing doors to make the animatronics go away, you have to listen for breathing, and while you're also looking into a pitch black hallway. And if you don't do it right and you flash your light down there, you literally have this nightmare animatronic jumping out of you out of pitch black darkness, screaming in your face when it's quiet as all hell, and you're stressing out because you don't know whether you heard something right or not. And it is really stressful. Like, like, but it's fun. Or at least I find it fun, yeah. Yeah. I can see the teeth there. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you got locks on them doors? Oh, and Foxy. Guys, I'm not even sure how well the locks would do. I mean, a metal animatronic can just bust through that. Yes, dare I open this? Jesus, the eyes
After
on
the death of Charlie...
Bruh, them eyes, man. Ugh, Christ. Also, I hate this thing. I hate this thing because of how much it killed me when I was playing Fnaf 4. I do. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate you. Yeah, you on the screen. I hate you, okay? You piss me off. You piss me off a lot. Yeah. See, that's one of the other things I like about Five Nights at Freddy's, that you learn to get over your fear of this, but not through, you know, like, bravery or anything, but through anger, because because at first you get scared and everything, but as you keep on trying to win over and over and over again, you get more pissed off than scared, and it's kind of funny, yeah. That's kind of how I got over it whenever I was playing this, because, like, whenever I first heard of Five Nights at Freddy's, I was so scared of even trying it. But I tried it, and then I got so into it, and I was like, yeah, that's not even scaring me anymore. And if anything, I'm getting more annoyed from not being able to win. Yeah.
After the death of Charlie, Fazbear Entertainment tried their best at covering it up. Fortunately for them and for William, the crime was committed outside, where no one was around to witness it. William was able to get away with everything, while Fazbear Entertainment never spoke of the incident again. The security puppet was quickly moved to the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where the retired Fredbear and Spring Bonnie suits resided. But something was different about the security puppet. Dark tears now appeared on the mask of the animatronic. Dark tears that weren't there before. This is something that Afton quickly noticed the next day when he went into work. He'd heard about what happened moments after he sped off. He knew the security puppet was found laying next to Charlie's body.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that detail about the tears until now. Huh. Like, that's...
body. So does that mean Charlie's soul now resided in the puppet?
Pretty much.
William definitely noticed that the puppet looked different, almost like it was haunted, almost like it was thinking. Other employees would eventually notice the same thing.
I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking, and it can go anywhere.
After realizing the security puppet may be possessed by the spirit of Charlie, Afton went back and looked at the crying child's Fredbear plushie, only to find that it also seemed to be haunted. The crying child feared for his life every single day, and that plushie was something he was able to cry and pour his agony into. Afton believed that this is what caused the plushie to appear haunted. It wasn't made alive by the spirit of his son, it was made alive by the agony and fear his son poured into it. Afton quickly became obsessed with the concept of haunted objects, and more specifically, the power of human emotion. He needed to find out if this is something he could take advantage of. Afton then used all of his money he made from Fredbear's and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to build a giant underground facility directly under his house. It was here that he would try to recreate what happened with his son, to recreate the fear and agony he experienced. In order to do this, Afton didn't take any chances. He needed to replicate exactly what his son went through every day.
So, with the direction this is going, I already know where this is going. This is... What I'm getting from the direction this is going is that he's intentionally about to kill his daughter.
In order to do this, Afton built a replica of his house underground, along with his son's daily walk to Fredbear's family diner. He also built a makeshift bedroom where he could force kids to have the same nightmare every night. Afton would sit in his office watching them on the cameras that could be accessed using the passcode 1983, the year his son got bit. He also kept the crying child's Fredbear plushie on the desk as a reminder of what he was trying to
shit, I missed the meme material for that, or I could have just done the Markiplier thing. Hey man, I just realized that.
replicate. In the makeshift bedroom, there were dummy animatronics that wheeled down the hallway. But the kids wouldn't see them as just blank dummies on wheels. Afton would pump hallucinogenic gas into the room to get the kids to think that what they were seeing was a monster. These nightmare gas canisters were being stored all throughout his underground facility. And on the bed of this makeshift bedroom was a Freddy plushie, in the hopes that the kids would pour their fear and agony into the plush, like his son did to his plushie. On the other side of the bunker, where Afton recreated the crying child's walk to Fredbear's, he placed a bunch of Fredbear plushies all over the place. These Fredbear plushies had walkie-talkies inside of them. This was Afton's way of recreating his son's imaginary friend that would talk to him wherever he went. Afton would speak to the kids through his walkie-talkie sitting in his private office. After setting up the bunker, Afton was only missing one more thing: the kids to run these experiments on. He needed a way to kidnap and capture kids without being caught, and he had the perfect way to do it.
Oh boy.
The show will begin momentarily.
That creepy ass
Everyone, please stay in your seats.
Enter Circus Baby and the Funtime animatronics. These robots were specifically built by Afton to capture kids, featuring Circus Baby, Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, and Ballora. They feature advanced technology such as parental tracking, voice mimicking / luring, and storage tanks. Circus Baby, the star of the group, was even able to make ice cream as a way to lure kids to her. Once the kid got too close, a giant claw would reach out, grab them, and lock them in the animatronics storage tank. Some of the board members from Fazbear Entertainment were suspicious of these new animatronics.
Rightfully so!
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
Afton even created a new restaurant for these animatronics called Circus Baby's Pizza World. Elizabeth, William Afton's daughter, was fascinated by Circus Baby. All she wanted to do was play with her, but Afton wouldn't let her.
Big mistake. Yeah, Afton, he's okay, I guess he's not intentionally trying to kill his daughter then, if he's gonna try and protect her then.
Daddy.
Yeah, which, you know, makes, good move on that, because... But we already know how this plays out. Or at least I do.
Why won't you let me play with her?
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Let the other children go see her. Why won't you?
Because this thing's basically a murder machine, and I don't want that to happen to you.
Let me go.
That's why he won't... Did that thing just blink?
We let the other children go see her. Why won't you let me go?
He strictly told
I thought I saw Circus Baby blink for a moment. I was like, what the hell?
her to stay away from the animatronic. But one day, she didn't listen. On the opening day of Circus Baby's Pizza World, another domino would fall in Afton's life, and Elizabeth would soon be the victim of his terrible misdeeds.
I can do something special. Did you know that? I can make ice cream.
Good for you.
Although I only did it once.
Yeah.
What a wonderful day, though.
Wonderful, huh?
I was in a small room with balloons and a few tables. I would always count the children. I'm not sure why. They usually played together in groups of 2 or 3. There were 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Time to play.
Oh boy. Yep.
Something happened when there was 1. I was no longer myself.
Yeah, I
There
can
was
tell.
screaming for a moment, but only for a moment.
In an instant, Elizabeth was grabbed by Circus Baby and thrown into her stomach hatch. The sheer force of her being grabbed and thrown into the robot's storage tank was enough to kill her almost instantly. This is something that William wasn't able to test. That was until his daughter became the test. William Afton now lost another one of his kids, but this time it was all his fault.
Yeah.
After just one day of being open, Circus Baby's pizza...
Yeah, like, Evan dying, I'm just gonna call him Evan. Evan dying, that was, I mean, that was entirely Michael's fault. Like, let's not sweat it, okay? That was his. And this one, yeah, that's his fuck up.
World was shut down. Afton covered up the incident by telling the public that the restaurant shut down due to gas leaks. But not everyone bought that story. The local newspaper wrote about the incident, saying, in other news, the grand opening of Circus Baby's Pizza World has apparently been canceled due to reported gas leaks in the building. Sources close to the establishment questioned the report, saying that strange activity around the area at night suggests something else is to blame. One local is quoted as saying, everything just stopped. There was so much excitement built around this place opening, and then they just stopped talking about it. A tenant from across the street claims to have witnessed a large group of cars surrounding the building during the night, and large pieces of equipment being taken out of the building under tarps. A few weeks later, the building was for sale. There is no comment yet from the local entrepreneur who financed the venture. That local entrepreneur, William Afton, successfully covered up everything. He was able to bring Circus Baby and the Funtime animatronics back down into his bunker. But once he got them there, he noticed something was different about Circus Baby. One distinct feature about Circus Baby was her blue eyes. But what once was blue eyes now were green, the same color as Elizabeth's. In that moment, he knew that his daughter's soul attached itself to the robot. Her soul lived on in Circus Baby. Afton knew that the way Charlie went on to possess the puppet was sloppy, and it was hard to recreate without getting caught. But what if the kids' bodies were hidden where no one would ever look? What if, just like his daughter, their bodies were stuffed into the animatronics? For Afton, Elizabeth's death quickly went from just another inconvenience to a scientific breakthrough. Afton was one step closer.
What is that saying? What is that saying? What is this saying? What was it, like, don't let no disaster go to waste or something along the lines of that? Probably not the exact right phrase, but you get where I'm going at. Yeah. Essentially what Afton did here. Yeah.
To harnessing the power of life itself. But one successful experiment wasn't enough. Just like the fear experiments he built in the bunker, he needed to
and that's how we ended up with the and that's how we ended up with the murders in the other restaurants.
Replicate exactly what happened. He needed to recreate the accident, and he knew exactly how he was going to do it. Using the Funtime animatronics again wasn't an option. Circus Baby's Pizza World was shut down, and the public was already getting too suspicious of the animatronics. But he didn't need the Funtime animatronics. He was going to run the experiment himself. On June 26, 1985, William Afton made his way to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There, he would put on the old Spring Bonnie suit from Fredbear's to lure 5 kids into the back room.
Took a swim with my new friend. Didn't care, I jumped
Oh boy, it's this one. Oh. Well, hello.
Hello. Looking for a friend?
The water's clear, come swim with me.
Oh, it's that's the animatronics from the or the prototypes from the second one. Yeah.
One by one, Afton killed them and stuffed their bodies into the animatronics. Susie was first, being stuffed into Chica. Gabriel went into Freddy, Jeremy into Bonnie, Fritz into Foxy, and then there was Cassidy, who went into Fredbear, aka Golden Freddy. At this point, Afton had no idea that the crying child spirit was in Golden Freddy, so he didn't think
So now he has a roommate.
twice about shoving Cassidy in there. The way Afton killed Cassidy, though, was different from the rest. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were just regular animatronics. Afton had no choice but to kill them, then stuff them into the suits. But Golden Freddy wasn't just a regular animatronic, it was a Springlock suit. The same Springlock suit that took his youngest son's life. Afton was aware of how dangerous the Springlocks were. Any bit of moisture or too much movement would cause them to snap shut, slowly killing whoever was inside. So that's exactly what he did to Cassidy. He put him into the suit and watched as the Springlocks snapped shut, cementing Cassidy's death as the most brutal of them all. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy weren't the only animatronics sitting in the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, though. They were joined by the security puppet, which contained the soul of Henry's daughter, Charlie. Once Afton was gone, Charlie jumped into action, almost acting as a guide for their souls, properly giving them life inside of each animatronic. After the incident, the kids were quickly reported missing by their families, and although the security cameras caught Afton luring the kids away, he wasn't able to fully get in trouble. Since he was wearing the Spring Bonnie suit, they were never able to prove it was actually him. Afton also hid the kids' bodies where no one would ever look, so the bodies were never found. Unbelievably, Afton was able to get away with yet another crime. Because of all the bad press that came from the missing children's incident, people stopped coming to the pizzeria. After months of customers no longer showing up, Fazbear Entertainment officially shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Shortly after the pizzeria shut down, Afton decided to pull the Funtime animatronics out of retirement and finally get his underground facility fully operational. He knew he couldn't try opening another Circus Babies restaurant, so he had a new idea.
Due to the massive success, and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it was clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender in children's entertainment. Unlike most entertainment venues, our robotic entertainers are rented out for private parties during the day.
Afton opened Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental. This way, he could rent out the Funtime animatronics to local birthday parties, capture kids, and bring them back to his underground bunker to be experimented on. While Afton was running his rental business, Fazbear Entertainment was determined to try opening another pizzeria. In the summer of 1987, Fazbear Entertainment opened the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, this time with brand new versions of their original characters. These were called the Toy Animatronics, and they were once again built by Henry. Henry was aware of what happened in 1985, and especially of what happened to his daughter, so he was determined to make sure that never happened again. These new toy animatronics were equipped with facial recognition systems that were linked directly to a criminal database. The security puppet was also brought out of retirement, but instead of working security, it sat quietly in the prize corner. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, and Spring Bonnie were also moved to the new pizzeria, and
he just left Spring Bonnie in there? I mean, yes, so, yeah.
Revealed that these animatronics were mostly used for spare parts.
By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them, but they were just so ugly, you know? And the smell.
This means that
and the new ones weren't ugly? I'm not gonna lie, I prefer the old ones to the new ones. I'm just being real with y'all, because as those new ones, them toy animatronics, those guys are creepy as all hell. I'm just like, yeah. I don't get me wrong, they're all creepy as hell, but I'd rather deal with the old ones than the new ones. Okay? Like, I just, yeah, no. Not even a contest, I'd rather deal with the old ones. And the old ones don't have that facial recognition shit either, so, yeah. I'd deal with the old ones instead.
Metal of the original Freddy's animatronics was now being put into the toy animatronics, causing the toys to also now be possessed. After Afton got away with the first set of murders, he needed to see if the kids' spirits were possessing the animatronics. In order to see for himself, Afton went back to work at the new pizzeria as a daytime security guard. While Afton was working the day shift, Jeremy Fitzgerald was working the night shift. Jeremy worked there for 5 nights, and unfortunately for him, because the kids possessing the animatronics were killed by an adult, they were extremely aggressive to any adult they encountered.
They interact with the kids just fine. But when they encounter an adult, they just stare.
Meanwhile, Afton decided to pull the same trick he did at the old Freddy's location, gaining 5 more victims.
Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it.
Afton used the Spring Bonnie suit to pull the same stunt again on 5 more kids. But as he was committing the murders, Charlie, from inside the puppet, was actively trying to save the kids. She tried enlisting the help of the other animatronics, but it was too late. Afton had already finished what he started. Not only that, him seeing the puppet and Freddy walking around the pizzeria trying to stop him was all the proof he needed that his experiments were successful. The kids he put into the original suits were haunting the animatronics. But there was one problem. Afton knew that the haunted metal of the endoskeletons was the key to everything, but the animatronics were trapped at the pizzeria. There was no way he could bring them back to his underground bunker. He couldn't get to the animatronics if the pizzeria was still open and active. So he needed to find a way to make sure the pizzeria shuts down and fast. Instead of stuffing the new set of victims into the toy animatronics, he decided to leave the kids out in plain sight, scattered throughout the pizzeria. This was a guaranteed way to get the pizzeria shut down. A few hours
that'll do it.
After Afton committed the murders, Jeremy Fitzgerald showed up for his night shift, unaware of what happened that day.
Hello. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Listen.
Yeah, a while.
Just finish your shift. It's safer than trying to leave in the middle of the night. We have one more event scheduled for tomorrow, a birthday. You'll be on day shift. Wear your uniform. Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone, okay?
The next day, during Jeremy's day shift, one of the animatronics bit him in the head. This was infamously known
It bit Jeremy? Oh, Jesus. Oh.
as the bite of 87. Meanwhile, Afton successfully got the pizzeria shut down. The local newspaper wrote about the incident, saying, after being open only a few short weeks, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is closing its doors. The new animatronics will be scrapped due to possible malfunctions. However, the original characters are being kept in hopes of a possible reorganization of the company. Since the toy animatronics were now being scrapped, he knew he could get away with taking their endoskeletons. But he also knew that he couldn't risk showing his face at the pizzeria again, so he got his oldest son Michael to do the work for him. William was easily able to get Michael to do whatever he wanted. William was abusive and manipulative, while Michael was haunted by the guilt of what he did to his younger brother. Because of this, Michael basically acted as William's puppet. Michael showed up for the night shift at the now closed Freddy Fazbear's Pizza under a code name, Fritz Smith. At the end of his shift, he would successfully steal the toy animatronics endoskeletons for his father, causing him to get fired his first day on the job due to tampering with the animatronics. As it said in the local newspaper, while Fazbear Entertainment scrapped the toy animatronics, the original Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were going to be fixed up and reused. And that's exactly what they did. After the 1987 Freddy's location shut down, they opened yet another location, this time using the
I was curious about it, because I was pretty sure the animatronics in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 happened before the animatronics in the first game, timeline-wise. I was pretty sure it was, and well, here we are, I'm right.
Exact same building.
Like I said, the FNAF timeline it's confusing as hell, because I'm like, am I right or am I wrong? I don't know. I know little details, but I don't know everything. And even then, this is still his version, as he said, so yeah, I don't know. And I'll be fucked if I watch like 1,000 Matt Patton videos on like all of however many he made for Five Nights, because like how many has he made? A lot.
As the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. As you can imagine, this
don't get me wrong, I enjoy Matt Pat, but that's don't want to watch 1,000 of those.
Didn't work out great for the business. People already had a bad impression of Fazbear Entertainment, so using the...
And I know I keep on pausing and everything, but I'm actually curious. How many videos of those has he actually made? You know, I'm willing to bet there's probably about as many videos he has on Five Nights at Freddy's as there is episodes for One Piece.
For the business. People already had a bad impression of Fazbear Fazbear Entertainment, so using the same building that the original murders took place in didn't help business.
Yeah,
Customers barely showed up to the new pizzeria, leading it to shut down by the end of 1993. Although this was bad news for Fazbear Entertainment, this was great news for William Afton. Afton was able to acquire the endos of the toy animatronics, but that wasn't enough. He needed all of the haunted endoskeletons, especially the ones in the original animatronics. Once the pizzeria shut down, Afton came up with the plan to steal the endos from the animatronics. Each pizzeria was designed with something called a safe room.
As always, if there is ever an emergency, please go to the designated safe room. Every location is built with one extra room that is not included in the digital map layouts programmed into the animatronics or security system. This room is hidden to customers, invisible to animatronics, and is always off camera.
How come we didn't get to use this in the games? How come we didn't get to use this in the games? Come on. Really? Oh, I'll tell you why. Because it's too easy. That's why.
This room was hidden from guests and invisible to the animatronics. Afton would use this to his advantage, luring each of the animatronics to the
if I had to guess, this is the room where he gets locked up in once he gets spring-trapped.
safe room and dismantling them one by one. The kids possessing these animatronics were the same kids he lured into the back room all those years ago. He planned to use the same trick to lure the same kids all over again.
Oh, hello. He's got a purple Freddy suit. Went from using spring body to the purple Freddy suit. Or Shadow Freddy, I guess. That was a thing. Oh boy. Here comes with the axe. There they go.
Once he finished dismantling each animatronic and stealing their endoskeleton, he brought them down to his underground bunker, where he would melt them all down into one liquid substance called Remnant. Not only did Afton rob these kids of their lives, he would use their souls long after they're gone for his own personal gain.
Yeah, I was saying this, it makes it poetic on how Afton dies now. And I mean dead, and when I die, I mean die. Yeah, which in the video will probably get into it.
By melting down the endos, he successfully created Remnant. This substance, containing the spirits of all of the missing children, was silver in color, and if kept at the right temperature, was malleable. Afton didn't want to risk testing the Remnant on himself, so he injected it into the Funtime animatronics. Once he did, the animatronics jumped to life. The experiment had worked. William Afton unlocked the power of life itself. After his successful experiment, he went back to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to collect his old Spring Bonnie suit. But once he got there, he was met with the spirits of the 5 missing children, trapping him inside the safe room. Cassidy, the spirit inside Golden Freddy, chased Afton around the room and forced him to get into the Spring Bonnie suit. Cassidy was the most vengeful spirit of them all. Being spring-locked in the Fredbear suit was a painful and slow death, and he wanted to make sure that Afton knew what that felt like. At this point, Afton knew how a spirit could live on. As long as he was inside the suit, he knew he'd be back.
And, yep. Water driplets got on him.
As Afton laughed, the spring locks snapped.
As one would say, things will always go according to plans until they don't. And there you go.
Shut, forcing him to go through what Cassidy went through. This was an act of revenge by Cassidy, and it wouldn't be the last. Afton was now confined to the safe room of the now shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and because of this, everything in his underground bunker was left abandoned. But even with Afton gone, the rental business continued on its own. All of the Funtime animatronics containing the spirits of the missing children and even his daughter Elizabeth were still being rented out during the day and then brought right back down to the bunker. All the spirits wanted to do was escape, but they were always put back underground. After Afton went missing, his eldest son Michael, who's been blindly helping his father, remembered what his father told him if he ever went missing. If William wasn't there to finish his work, Michael would do it for him. Afton's underground facility was always off limits to Michael, but since he was now gone, Michael had no choice. He took the elevator down to where his father worked every day. Although Michael was helping out his father by stealing some of the endos from the animatronics back in the day, he never exactly knew what William was doing until he got down into the bunker.
Hey, you had to crawl through a vent and hear GLaDOS talking.
Over the several days he visited
I just want to know what was going through his head when he made this creepy ass office and he put these in there.
bunker, he learned more about what his father was up to. He learned about the massive facility his father built, complete with multiple rooms conducting fear experiments. He learned the truth behind the Funtime animatronics and how they were actually designed to kidnap.
I was about to say he should have contacted the authorities, but he was William's puppet, so he'd probably get in trouble too, and that's probably why that didn't happen. Yeah.
Kids, and he learned through the voice of Baby exactly how his sister died.
A little girl, standing by herself, my stomach opened, and there was ice cream. I couldn't move, at least, not until she stepped closer.
But as the week went on, Baby was conducting a plan of her own, a plan to escape the bunker using Michael's body. Elizabeth was no longer the person Michael remembered her as. She was entirely devoted to her father and would do anything to make him proud of her. At the end of the week, all of the Funtime animatronics endos were scooped out, with all of them combining into one animatronic called Ennard. This creature, containing the spirits of the missing kids and Elizabeth, knew they wouldn't be able to escape the bunker looking like an animatronic. They needed a human body to walk around in.
And that's where Michael came in, and the scoop.
You are in the scooping room now. Funtime Foxy has already been here today. Funtime Freddy has already been here today. Allura has already been here today. Circus Baby has already been here today. I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here. There is nowhere to go when we look like this. then we would have somewhere to go. The scooper only hurts.
Well, not
for a
really. You'd only
moment.
just be able to roam freely. There it goes.
Michael Afton's insides got scooped out and replaced by Ennard, helping all of the souls to escape the facility. With every passing day after this happened, Michael looked more and more like a walking zombie. His skin was starting to turn purple, and people started to notice. Michael's body was no longer a good disguise for Ennard, so Ennard ejected itself from Michael. But because the scooper was also a remnant injector, when Michael Afton was scooped, he was also injected with Remnant. The Remnant made it so even after Ennard was gone, he was still able to survive. With Michael...
Jesus Christ. Seems the Afton family seems to have a knack for, you know, not going out easily. Yeah. The whole family here.
Now back in full control of his body, he had a new mission. Although he did, one way or another, successfully free his sister
Like,
from
I can only imagine how painful that's gotta be. Like, getting your insides scooped out, having an ard go inside of you, and you wearing you as a skin suit, and then ejecting itself, because imagine ejecting it doesn't feel great out of it. Imagine an ard ejecting itself outside of your walking corpse doesn't feel great either. And then you have to live like this too. Like, just, oh boy. And Springtrap don't have it don't have it much better either. Like, just, ugh.
Underground facility, he also learned
And he deserves it.
about all of his father's terrible misdeeds. His loyalty to his father turned to disgust. It was time for him to end all of this.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me.
Very wrong with him.
I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
Michael would spend years searching for his father with no luck, until a new ad in the local newspaper caught his attention. Someone decided to open something called Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction. Local amusement park.
And how long did this take off? Because I know this was way like way after like the first and second games, like way into the future. Well, not like way into the future, but like before the I'm pretty sure this is like this took part in the 2000s. I could be wrong, but what do I know?
Is getting ready to scare your socks
definitely after it though.
Off with a new attraction based
That
on
I know for sure.
Unsolved Mysteries of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Featuring actual relics from the decades-old pizzeria, this new attraction is guaranteed to bring back your childhood in the worst possible way. As if using the crimes of his father to make a profit wasn't bad enough, they also went back to the old pizzerias and collected any objects they could find to put on display at the attraction. Michael immediately applied for the job of the security guard with the sole intention of burning the place to the ground. When he got there, he saw the remnants of his past. The shells of all of the animatronics, missing every single one of their endoskeletons. He knew they could only find the shells of the animatronics because he and his father stole their endoskeletons all those years ago, leaving only the shells behind. On day 2 of working at the attraction, he got word that they found a real animatronic.
You're not gonna believe this. We found one. A real one.
I'm just curious how Michael was able to get a job here with how he looks, though. But I don't know, maybe, I don't know, you know what, life finds a way, that's how we're going with.
real animatronic ended up being his father.
Yeah, little did they know that this real animatronic ended up being a bit more realer than they thought.
Still inside the Spring Bonnie suit he died in decades ago. Even though his father was now in the building with him, he still decided to go through on his plan, all in an effort to end his father once and for all. Michael then rigged the wiring in the building to catch fire, burning the horror attraction to the ground with his father inside.
Goes. It burns. And he lives.
The local newspaper would write about the fire, saying a new local attraction based on an ancient pizzeria chain burned down overnight. Authorities have not ruled out foul play, but at the moment it seems to have been caused by faulty wiring. Although the fire destroyed most of everything in the building, William, miraculously, was able to survive.
Somehow.
William was now free, roaming the outside
He wasn't lying when he said he always comes back, because he sure did.
World along with the souls of the missing children, Elizabeth, and Charlie inside the puppet. Since Michael wasn't able to end everything, someone else needed to step in. That someone was Henry Emily. Afton's old business partner and father of Charlie heard about the fire at Fazbear's Fright, along with the rumors of the various animatronic creatures now roaming the streets. Henry was determined to put an end to all of this.
That's where FNAF 6 came in.
It's only now that I understand the depth of the depravity of this creature, this monster. Together in one place.
By gathering all of the animatronics in one place and locking them in the same room, he would be...
I heard this right here, what is it called? Molten Freddy? I think that's the name they give it. I heard that this is basically just Ennard, but with the Freddy face instead. Do I know if that's true? I don't know. But that's what I heard, yeah. And well, everyone else is just the same, yeah. The only difference is that the puppets and the, what was it called? Lefty? I think it was called Lefty. The Black Freddy animatronic, I believe that's what it was, with the that like captured the puppet, yeah.
Able to burn them all to the ground for good, effectively freeing their spirits in the process. In order to do this, Henry created a new restaurant called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. He knew that the spirits and William couldn't resist coming back to a new location, even if it was all just a trap. Charlie was different though. She was smarter than the rest, so Henry knew she wouldn't be as easily fooled. So he created an animatronic called Lefty, standing for lure, encapsulate, fuse, transport, and extract. Specifically to capture the puppet and bring it to the pizzeria. While trying to find someone that would help him carry out his plan, one person showed up for the job. A person who was also determined to finally end all of this. Michael Afton. Day after day, the animatronics roaming the streets would show up in the alleyway next to the pizzeria. Baby, aka Elizabeth, the souls of the missing children and the crying child, now appearing as Molten Freddy, Charlie and Lefty, and his father, William, all showed up in the back alley. Michael would then collect each animatronic and throw them into a facility under the pizzeria, designed to be a maze with no exit, where the animatronics would roam around without even knowing they're trapped, until the end of the week where they would all be burned to the ground. With all of the souls, including William himself, now in one place, Henry's plan was in motion. As far as Elizabeth and William were concerned, this was a good thing. All of this remnant now in one place was all that they wanted, until Henry stepped in.
You played right into our hands.
Did
Did you really think that this job just fell out of the sky for you? No. This was a gift for us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us. A gift. Now we can do what we were created to do and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but this gift is just a trap in the skies.
Watch. Listen. And be full.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears.
Won't it hope?
Although for one of you,
that's you.
The darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours.
She about to get the last hit in?
What became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this would have been a great end for Five Nights at Freddy's, you know? Like, I'm glad there's more games and everything, you get to have more fun and all, but if there was, like, a good point to end something, this would be it. I'm just saying. Story-wise, yeah.
Putting fire to the animatronics may have freed the spirits from the metal of the robots, but some of them still needed help actually moving on into the afterlife. This help would come from Charlie. She helped guide the spirits into the robots. Now she would help them move on. In the world of Five Nights at Freddy's, the way a spirit can move on is by them being put into a happy memory. The memory Charlie chose actually comes from the crying child and the day he got bit. Piece by piece, Charlie put that terrible, shattered memory back together, but this time, she would change it into a happy memory. Instead of the crying child getting bit on his birthday, Charlie changed it so that all of the missing kids and Charlie would celebrate him, giving him a giant birthday cake. By changing that terrible memory into a happy one and attaching all of the spirits to it, they were able to successfully pass into the afterlife.
Off they go. Off to heaven.
Like I said, they were all able to move on. Except for one.
No. Is this where Custom Night comes in? Because, from what I've been told, Custom Night was basically, just the hell that Springtrap was put in. William Afton. It's just hell for William Afton. Yeah, because he has to repeatedly deal with that shit over and over and over and over and over and over again, completely endless. And I think that's where this comes in, especially with the what was it, the fishing man Easter egg, where he was just like said something that helps Evan move on, or Cassidy, or both, I don't know.
Cassidy, the most vengeful spirit of them all, wasn't done
Cassidy,
yet.
okay.
Finding him
I know this is a off topic, but them jump scares and Custom Night are wacky as hell. I'm just saying.
that the suffering will never end.
We've only just begun. I will never let you leave. I will never let you rest.
He tried to release you. He tried to release us, but I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here. I will keep you here, no matter how many times they burn us.
Cassidy knew that Afton didn't deserve the afterlife. He deserved to pay for what he's done for all of eternity. But if you keep up with the franchise, you know that that's not the end of the story.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said at the beginning of the video, making a FNAF timeline is not easy, no matter what anyone says. In broad strokes, you can explain the basic plot, but once you get down to the motivations and the why of everything, you have to start filling in the blanks yourself. Some people who've helped me fill in the blanks that I'd like to shout out are Right Host for his theory about Cassidy being spring-locked in Golden Freddy. I think that makes a lot of sense and is really satisfying for the narrative. Also, I'd like to shout out MattPat for his theory about Midnight Motorist. After trying to figure that minigame out for years, I think your explanation makes the most sense. It's important for me to say that no one except for Scott Cawthon himself knows the exact story he was trying to tell.
Yeah, like we're not gonna know the exact lore of this until Scott Cawthon just releases like a whole like 5-hour video explaining it or something. Yeah. Like we're just, and who knows if he'll even do that. Who knows for real what'll happen. I don't know. And it's still ongoing. Like this, we got like 2 minutes left on this. This video's not even going over security breach and all that. But yeah.
So please make sure to watch other people's timelines as well and come to your own conclusion on everything. And when the time is right, I'll be back to tackle the newer games in this franchise. Until then, make sure to subscribe and thanks for watching.
Alright, thanks for making this. This was great. Yeah, this is a great video. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I also like the animation in it too. The animation was great too as well. Yeah, I liked this a lot, and I like the timeline we put together in this as well. I thought it was good. Yeah, made a lot of sense and everything too. Yeah, got my train of thought because I had to pause the recording to do something. God damn it, hate when that happens. But yeah, like I said, I thought this was really good. I like it. So yeah. Now something I heard about whenever it comes to security breach is that whole underground bunker where all the animatronics burned at the end of FNAF 6. That's basically like the final arena you have at like the end of security breach, you know, where you got to deal with Springtrap in there, or Scrap Trap, whatever the hell you want to call them now. Like the whole mall was built over that, from what I heard. And once again, do I know if this is true? I don't know. I'm going off of what I heard, and like you said at the end, we'll never know what the true timeline and everything is for sure, unless you're Scott Cawthon himself. Yeah. So yeah, not only, and who knows, maybe he'll never even release a thing that completely explains everything. Maybe it'll just be like, maybe he'll just be like, no, I'll just leave it up for interpretation, yeah, and just see what happens, yeah. I don't know. It's his game, his lore and everything. He can do what he wants with it. So yeah, FNAF is full of mysteries. Yeah, I kind of want to look into that extra thing added on for Security Breach because I looked at all of Security Breach, but I didn't look at, like, what was it, like, DLC? What was it called after that? I gotta look it up. It was Ruin. Security Breach Ruin. Yeah, I didn't look at all of that. I looked at, like, a little bit of that, and then I just never came back. I was like, I don't know what happened, but I was just like, I stopped watching the Markiplier videos. I was like, oh no. I just remember, like, a holograph Bonnie thingy. Yeah. And then there was, like, FNAF Into the Pit. I think that's what it was called, too. I didn't really look at that either. I looked at, like, few minutes of that, and then I probably got distracted again now. And then I don't know anything about this whole mimic thing, but that's something I gotta look at, yeah. The only thing I know about that is that's like before everything happened, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, the mysteries of FNAF is... yeah. Alright, well, I enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys did too. And if you did, go check out the original video and go support Fnaf for making it, or Fuhnaff for making this. That's the name of the creator. They'll both be linked down in the description below. Go support them for making this, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and everything helps out a lot. And have a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.